last week I did a regular weekly reading vlog, partially because I was not in the mood to do any kind of read it or on haul or anything like that, and partially because I thought I was going to be traveling last week. So when I'm traveling, I don't particularly like doing like a read it or on haul. Like this week was supposed to be my read it or on haul week, but my traveling from last week got pushed to this week. And I have 8 read it or on haul books, and that is too many books to be carrying with me while I'm traveling. So instead, I'm switching to my series challenge for this week. That works out for me because one, I'm already in the middle of a book that it's not part of my series challenge, but it'll get me to completing series that I have started this year. Also, I forgot to add this series to my series challenge, so might as well just finish it, which is Sunbringer by Hanah. I read God Killer, I want to say back in January, maybe December, and I really enjoyed it. So really excited to continue on with Sunbringer. And if I end up liking this as much as I think I'm gonna like it, I will be picking up the sequel, which is Faithbreaker, which is coming out in March, which I am really excited about. But also with my series challenge, a lot of other books I can listen to the audiobooks of. For example, Discworld is a series that I am loving so much right now, but for the most part, I'm listening to the audiobooks of the Discworld books, so I'll be picking up, we'll see how many. I think in the past 3 to 4 Discworld books in a week is kind of where I land with it, but it depends on how long the books are. So like the last Discworld book, Pyramids, that I read was like a full-length book. Like it wasn't like a short Discworld book, it was actually like a full-length book. And I believe Small Gods is too, and I am really excited for Small Gods, so there's a good chance I'll pick that up this week. But there are other Discworld books I need to pick up as well, like Men at Arms, Eric, and I think the next Witches book I have to pick up is Witches Abroad. Oh, I also have Reaper Man from the Death series, which I haven't continued on with the Death series yet. So I think that is a pretty good possibility for this week, any one of those Discworld books. So I'm excited for that, but I'm not going to start those until like Monday when I'm actually like traveling, probably Tuesday or maybe like late Monday. When I'm actually on the road, I'll get to those. For the 2 series that I ended up picking as my series challenge series in my spring TBR, we have the How to Train a Dragon series. This is the last 6 books in the How to Train a Dragon series. It's middle grade and we're in March, so we could do some middle grade March. I think I could probably get to at least some of these this week. They're super short, at least the earlier ones in the series. So I'll be starting with How to Ride a Dragon's Storm, which I think is the 7th book in the series. Yeah, book 7, because I've read the first 6 books already. So I'll definitely be starting with this week. So this will be one of the books that I take with me. I might take multiple of the How to Train a Dragon series books just because they are pretty short in the middle grade, so I should be able to get through these pretty quickly. And then the other series I ended up picking was the Rhaeria Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan. I do plan to reread Theft of Swords, which is the first book in the series, before continuing on with the other 2 books. So I'll probably take Theft of Swords with me, as well as the second book, which is Rise of Empire. So 2 books is not that bad. I don't know if I'm going to get to both of these. Maybe I'll try and finish Theft of Swords before I leave, but considering I'm already in Sunbringer and I don't plan to take Sunbringer with me, I'm hoping to finish this before I leave. I don't think I'll also be able to finish Theft of Swords because it's pretty chunky, but we'll see. I do have the audiobook for this too, so I can switch between the 2, which will probably speed this up quite a bit. And then lastly, we have Malazan Book of the Fallen, which I'm currently on my reread of Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson, and I am reading the ebook for this one. So because it's an ebook, it's a little bit easier to carry with me because it's just on any of my devices. So I think this week I'm gonna try and make Gardens of the Moon my main priority. I know I always have a main priority every week and it like never ends up being what I say it's gonna be, but I do think this is a series that I have been wanting to get to for a long time, and I don't know what it was in winter, but I just couldn't get to it. I feel like with the warmer weather and stuff, I'll just be in a better mood and be able to handle the series more. So I don't know if I'm gonna finish this book this week because I have the entire month of March to finish it. But like I said, I'm gonna read as much of it as I possibly can. But I do have a lot of priorities this week, so we'll see how this goes. It's still Saturday, and you know how I was mentioning Gardens of the Moon was gonna be my main priority, but I was gonna have a hard time following that because for some reason I can't follow my own directions? Well, I ended up picking up 2 books today, and neither of them were Gardens of the Moon. I will continue on with Gardens of the Moon. I'll probably spend a little bit more time while I'm actually traveling reading that, but I also mentioned that I would not pick up Discworld. Well, one of the books I picked up today was a Discworld book, Eric by Terry Pratchett. Super short, so I did end up starting and finishing this book today. I needed another audiobook, first of all, because I had stopped the audiobook that I was listening to yesterday for reasons that if you want to know more about, you could check out my last week's vlog, but I wanted something quick and easy, and this audiobook I had to return to my library soon. So I decided to just pick it up, and it was cute. I will say, I feel like the reading experience I had of this book felt similar to Mort, where I really loved the concepts, but I did not quite love the character, specifically Eric. I still like Rincewind. I think Rincewind is fun, and the luggage, which, because this is a wizard's book, so it's following Rincewind and the luggage, were fine. Eric himself, I really didn't like, and I feel like that maybe kind of ruined the book for me. I don't know, I just feel like this one wasn't as funny either as some of the other ones, so I didn't enjoy this as much as I wanted to, even though, like, the concept is so interesting. The concept of this book, at least, reminds me a lot of The End of Eternity by Isaac Asimov, which I really loved that book. But I think because I loved that book so much, seeing kind of like the same concept done, but like in a completely different way, didn't necessarily work for me as much. So I ended up giving this one 3.25 stars. I still really liked it, but I struggled with this one just a bit. I kind of expected that going into it though, because a lot of people don't seem to like this one as much as his other books. And the other book I decided to pick up was Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. This is a reread for me because Assassins of Reality, the second book in this series, is on my Read It or On Haul like TBR, which if I'm gonna do Read It or On Haul next week, I do kind of want to reread Vita Nostra before I read that one. I have a feeling I might not like that one as much as I love Vita Nostra, because Vita Nostra is amazing. If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend. Dark academia, super mind-bendy. Like, this was the kind of the mood that I was in last week, so I feel like it's a good like stepping stone over into this week too. And I'm not gonna have time probably very much over the week to read this book, so I'm gonna pick it up this weekend and hopefully I can finish it next weekend. But I am planning to annotate this book a little bit because I do want to get a little bit deeper into my rereads, especially of like my favorite books from past. So I've read about 20 pages or so, and I have been taking some like notes and stuff, so I am excited to see what I come up with this one. But so far, still loving the atmosphere. The first time I read it, I did listen to the audiobook, and the audiobook is amazing, but I am reading it physically this time. Maybe I'll switch between the two a little bit, or maybe I'll have the audiobook play a little bit while I physically read it. Haven't decided, because I do really love the audiobook narrator, and just the audiobook in general is just beautiful, but I am planning to annotate it, so you can't really annotate an audiobook. I think the atmosphere just blends really well to audio in general. I love the description so far, and it has been a while since I've picked up this book, so I don't quite remember all of the things that happen. It's just drawing me back into it as it did the first time, and I'm really excited to continue on with it. Can you hear this? As soon as I clicked the camera on to film, it started doing this. That's my washing machine, by the way. It was perfectly quiet 5 seconds ago, I swear, but as soon as I want to film, it starts doing whatever it's doing over there. I don't have that much time, so I'm gonna talk through it. Hopefully I could remove it from the background in post. We'll see how that goes though. It is Sunday, March 9th, and I have not continued on with any of the books that I started yesterday. Honestly, I can feel a little bit of a slump coming on. I did enjoy Vita Nostra, but I'm struggling a bit with Sunbringer right now. I don't even know where the book is. Where did I put this book? Sunbringer. Struggling with this one a little bit. I did get the audiobook for it so I could switch between the two. I'm thinking that if I don't get to a part that I'm really enjoying before I leave tomorrow, I'm just gonna put this one on pause and we'll try again in like a couple of weeks. I have the physical book, so it's not that big of a deal, and I believe the third book in the series comes out in April, so we have some time, and I'm really not feeling like putting myself into a reading slump at the moment. But my book of the month box arrived, so I thought I would do a mini unboxing for y'all. This will be included in my next book haul as well, since that's not going to be till like May, because I do seasonal book hauls. I'm not going to wait all the way into May to actually unbox this, because there is one particular book that I'm super excited for. I didn't actually know it existed until I saw it on Book of the Month and read through like the description. I was like, oh my gosh, this seems like the exact type of book that I want to read. So I'm really excited for it. I did put the audiobook on hold at my library for it as well. I have to wait like 16 weeks for the audiobook. So I haven't decided if I'm going to wait for the audiobook so I can switch between the two, or if I'm just going to pick up this book when I get it. Well, obviously I got it, so we'll see. Obviously this is not part of my series, so probably not this week, but I wanted to do an unboxing anyway. That was a terrible cut. Always cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. Especially when you're holding it up like this for no reason, just because you want to get it in a good shot with the camera. So the first book You can kind of see it. This one is not the book that I was talking about, but it also looks like it's gorgeous, so I'm excited for it as well. So we have Our Infinite Stars, which this is a little bit of a cover buy, but a little bit because you have to choose one of the March book for your March box, and this was the one that looked the most interesting to me. It also, I believe, is a fantasy read. Yeah, it says in The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue meets This Is How You Lose a Time Warp, which I love The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and while This Is How You Lose a Time Warp was not one of my favorites, I love the concept of it, so I feel like this could be a good option. I probably will wait till I get the audiobook for so that I can switch between the two, but this is the one that got me really excited, which is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. I hope I pronounced that name right. This one is about walking through dimensions, is what I read that made me want to read this book. It's just the type of book that I feel like I could potentially end up really loving. I've never read this author before, but I'm excited for it. It's also beautiful. Like, look at this. So yeah, probably not this week, but hopefully sooner rather than later. And then the third one I got was Phantasma by Kylie Smith. And this one was like an extra because for the book of the year, you get a free book out of the 5 like book of the year books that you could pick if you're like a BFF for book of the month. And I already had a few of them, and then I had read one of them and did not like it. So I had to pick between this and The Lion Women of Tehran, which I do plan to read that one, but I plan to read that one on audiobook, and I feel like it's not the type of book that I would ever like reread, whereas this is a fantasy, so I'm just more likely to read the physical book of, and has that book of the year lolly thing in the back. It also seems to have different colored pages. Like if you look at you can kind of see it's like black and white, so that's interesting. I don't know anything about this book other than it was free and it was one of the 5 book of the year books, so hopefully it'll be good. I liked 2 out of the 3 book of the year books that I read, so maybe I'll like this one too. I apologize if you could hear that drill going off in the background. My neighbor is getting some work done. I only have about 15 minutes before I have to leave, so I gotta do this now. But last time I was able to remove most of the noise in post, so I think it'll be okay. It is Monday, March 10th, and I did decide to pause on Sunbringer for now. I don't know when I'm gonna pick this up back again. I'm hoping before the end of the month, just because I do like to pick up new releases when they come out, especially if it's a series that I have been enjoying. I made about 42% of the way into the book, but I just found myself drifting off because I was switching between the audiobook and the physical book, and so at the time I had switched to the audiobook, I just found myself drifting off and just not paying attention, even though audiobooks for me are generally easier for me to pay attention to than physical books, so that's not a good sign. So for now, I'm just gonna put this one on pause because I don't want to put myself into a reading slump. I did instead pick up How to Ride a Dragon Storm last night. I picked it up physically, but then I switched to the audiobook, and the audiobooks for the How to Train Your Dragon series are amazing. I absolutely love them. I actually ended up finishing How to Ride a Dragon Storm. It was so good. I enjoyed it. I think part of it is just being back in this series. I forgot how good this series actually was for a middle grade series. I mean, it's still very obviously middle grade. It's not like Harry Potter, which grows out of that. This is very much middle grade, but I would have loved this when I was 9 or 10 years old. This is amazing. And the physical books are amazing too because they are illustrated, which I just love a good illustrated book. But I have decided, because I love the audiobooks so much, and I think the audiobooks just add something to the reading experience of this, I'm going to continue this on audio, especially since I'm traveling. I'm not going to bring any of the physical books with me. I'll flip through the physical books through the illustrations when I have time. I did flip through and look through this one. It's a lot of fun. I like this one a lot. I will be continuing on with these through audio. I'll switch back and forth between How to Train Your Dragon books and the Discworld books. So since I just finished How to Ride a Dragon Storm, my next book will be a Discworld book for the drive down there. But this book I enjoyed so much. There was a quest. I love these characters so much. These characters are so much fun. I think part of what makes these characters so much fun is they're kind of pathetic, but in the best way possible, and yet they still triumphed over all of the crazy things that happened to them, which makes me love them so much. And yeah, I just love them so much. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I don't know if it's necessarily worth 4 stars, but I enjoy these so much that I can't give it anything. I will say one of the books in this series I did give 5 stars to, How to Be a Pirate, which is the second book in the series, because it got me so emotionally invested into that story. This one was not quite that good, but it was still good for what it was. So I'm pretty sure this guy just tried to sell me weed. This has never happened to me when I was going to the beach on the West Coast, but the East Coast is a different story. Literally, it is spring break, and there's not a single person on this beach who looks like they're from spring break. It is so quiet. But anyways, it's now Tuesday, and I did start Reaper Man by Pratchett, so this is the next Discworld book, which I'm enjoying. Haven't really gotten far in any of my other books. I've honestly been a little distracted by a lot of things going on, but enjoying it so far. So excited to see where it's going. It definitely has really interesting concepts, which I think all of the Death series books does, but But I don't know, we'll see if I'll end up liking it. Alrighty, so it is Wednesday, not the 12th, the 19th. Yeah, we're just gonna call this vlog a complete fail because I absolutely did not continue on with the series as much as I wanted to. I got sick on Thursday. I started to feel symptoms on Thursday, and then by Saturday it got to the point where I was almost complete bed rest. I could not do anything. I ordered groceries and to bring the groceries from my front door to the kitchen was a chore. Let's just put it that way. I have been down and out for the last 7 days, and I don't know if you can still hear it, but I still kind of am. I think the last time we talked, I was still reading Reaper Man by Terry Pratchett. I had about 52 minutes left in the audiobook last I checked, but my library did return the book on its due date, so I put it back on hold. I'll be getting it back soon, I think. So once I get it back, I'll finish it. To be honest, I don't know if it was because I wasn't feeling well or what, but I felt very similar with Reaper Man as I did with Mort, which surprises me because I always expect to love the Death series because the Death series has some of the most interesting concepts and ideas of the entire Discworld, but I never end up liking it as much as some of the other books. Right now, it's currently a 3.5 star for me. I want it to be more than that, but that's where we're at. I'll finish it though when I get it back and have an actual review on it. That is all I have for you. If you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments because I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. I'm posting at least one video per week, so please consider subscribing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.